Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, parents of P962. This is an introduction to Scoutbook, as the title obviously says. And let me just briefly make one delineation. There is the book that your Cub Scout carries to den meetings, and then there's the website called Scoutbook. The only problem with this website is that they call it Scoutbook, and new parents often get it confused with that book that your actual physical scout is carrying around in their hand. And the reason they named it Scoutbook is because it's pretty much a digital version of the manual that your scout walks around with that you had to buy. It is a website that's linked to Scouting BSA. Scouting BSA is the larger umbrella organization that Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Venture Crew, that they're all underneath. It is used to keep track of awards for your Scouts' progress. You, the parent, can enter awards. You can enter hikes. We're going to talk about how to do that. It is used by Boy Scout troops and Venture Crews. It's not always used, though. Some troops use it. Some troops don't use it, and that's not us. We're just talking about Cub Scouts, so there's that. But I want to talk about how you use Scoutbook and how you even get in. So first of all, how do you log in? So we need your email address, which you've probably already given to us, and we, the administrators, whether it's the Cub Master or one of the committee members, will enter your scout into our Scoutbook account, and we'll create him his own web page. And from that web page, we'll then add your name and your email. And when we do that, it sends you an invitation. It sends an invitation to that email address. But I think we all understand that when an email gets sent from some random website, a lot of times that email gets eaten by the spam filter or by the clutter folder or whatever your email client has to gobble it up. So our other thing we usually do is send a second email to you from one of the PAC email addresses that just alerts you to look for that Scoutbook invitation. So let's imagine that you've found the Scoutbook invitation and you see a link, you click on the link, and boom, now it's time to log in. This is your standard web page login. You create a username that you're never going to forget and a password that is relatively secure, and of course something you're not going to forget. And when you log in, you're going to see your dashboard. Now your dashboard is not going to look like my dashboard because it's my dashboard and I'm the Cub Master, and you aren't quite yet. One of you will be the Cub Master. But anyway, so on your dashboard you should see similar things. You should see something that says you have these three lines which are almost useless, this back button, the home button, and then on other pages there'll be something that looks kind of like a card right there, like a credit card, and that's actually the My Dashboard link to take you back to my dashboard. I'll point that out again in a little bit. I have administrative powers, so this appears here. It wouldn't appear on yours. You should see something that says My Account. As you can tell, I've loaded a really ugly picture of myself up there. And then you'll see My Family, and underneath this orange box is a scout's name. It's my scout's name. If you have multiple scouts in the pack, you'd see Scout 1, 2, 3, whatever their names are listed right there. And on the other side, depending on your position in the pack, you'll have different things listed. Since I'm the Cub Master, I have the entire pack listed. If you're a den leader, you'd have your den listed. If you're a parent, I think you just have your child. I don't know. I've never been just a parent. I've always had some role in the pack with Scoutbook, so I'm not sure what it looks like from the parent's only perspective there. But anyway, what you probably want to do is start with your scout. So you go over here, click on your scout's name, and it brings up the next page, the parent's view. So now this is the Scouts page. This is your little Cubby's page. And so again, we have those three lines, the back arrow, the home button. Oh, look, there's that weird card looking thing. That takes you back to my dashboard. We're in pack 962. It should say your den leader, your den number, and then the Scout's name. This scout is currently a Weeblo, and look, they're working towards their Arrow of Light award, 25% of the way there. Nice. What pack they're in, this check mark means they've been officially added to the pack all the way, and you can see that both parents have logged into Scoutbook and looked at this at least once. One of them was smart enough not to put her picture in there. The other one is that guy, aka me. We use this to track advancement, and you can see that this scout has earned a lot of awards over the years. This was from 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and then all of those little belt loops and pens and summertime awards, they're all kept in here. So every time he earns them, they keep showing up, showing up, showing up, and they'll follow him all the way through to Eagle Scouts if his Boy Scout troop uses Scoutbook as well. Now, let's scroll down. Okay, so if you're following along on an actual computer, you want to scroll down and you'll see a bunch more options down at the bottom. I think if you're a parent, some of these options don't appear. So I'm going to go over the basic options. Edit profile. Click on edit profile. Is your son's name spelled correctly? Do you want to put a nickname in there? Address, phone number, email address for you, the parent, so we can contact you on his behalf or her behalf, and a couple other things as you look down the edit profile list. The one thing I want to caution you is do not change the BSA ID number. The Boy Scouts of America ID number was put in there by us. We've already taken care of that part, and that's one of the things we had to do when we added your scout to Scoutbook. So membership and payment log, you don't need to worry about that. Upload photo, completely optional. Connections, so your Scouts connections, these are the leaders in the pack who have some control over what is done in Scoutbook for your scout. So as the Cub Master, I have control over every single Scout's Scoutbook account. The den leader only has control over his or her den. And you, the parent, only have control over your Scouts accounts. You don't have control over other Scouts accounts. But if you're a den leader, you can add things to, all 6 Scouts that are in your den. If you're a committee member, which is also one of the upper levels of management, if you will, they also can often add lots of things to multiple Scouts. That is done through advancement. We'll talk about that in a second. But probably one of the most common things parents do with their scout is add to the hiking log. So click on hiking log if you're following along at home, and you will come to a page that, if you're new, will be blank, but it says add here, and you can add hikes. You can add hikes that you and your family have gone on. Maybe you went to Bear's Den. Maybe you did the little butterfly hike around Banshee Reeks. You can go into here and add those hikes in. You just record the date. How far did you walk? Where did you walk? Bam! And you want to do this because our pack awards Scouts once they've done 3 hikes. We give them a hiking stick if they haven't already earned one. And then at the end of the year, we also give them a rank award for their stick. And it gets nailed onto the stick, and it's a permanent, until they break it off, fixture on the stick. And so as you can see, this scout hiked 21 miles that we logged last year, probably more than that, but that we logged. And you can see a lot of the different things that were counted. We count scouting for food as a hike because they end up walking so much when they're moving the bags all over the place. Our spring camp out involved hiking as they moved from one activity to the next activity. Lots of fun things. Okay, so you go back, you push the back button, and you got that list again, and we're going to do the advancement. When we say advancement, we are talking about what is your scout working on all throughout the year with your den or you to eventually show that they've got their rank award. And when they finish a little adventure, the younger cubs get belt loops to show that they finished it, and the Webelos get pins for the colors on their shoulders. So this scout, as you can see, oh look, there's a check mark. This scout has completed the Into the Wild adventure for Webelos. He completed it in September. That's when it was entered in the book, and then his den leader approved it, and that's what's behind the orange box, the name of the den leader. The den leader approved it. There's two things that went on there. First, the parent went in. So actually, back up. Step 0. Parent looked through the book with this scout and said, hey, I like going into nature. I'm really enthusiastic about this. I want to share this experience with you. Can we go work on this together? Can we learn about nature? Can we learn about rocks? Can we build a rocket? Can we do, whatever is going to work with the parent and the child? They decided, in this case, to do something together on their own. And so the parent, after completing this adventure, using the actual physical book, not the website, but the actual physical book, they completed this adventure, went in and clicked all the right buttons, and then, and this is the last key step, after filling out that you've done all of the work, they then told the den leader, he said, hey, den leader, Johnny and I did all these things, he's going to tell you about them, and then the den leader approves that it was completed. Same thing goes down here for the Cyber Chip Award. You sit down with your child, you talk about internet safety, you go through some steps, and your child earns the Cyber Chip Award. I think there's usually some videos involved that they have to watch, and then your den leader approves that it was done. And that approval is a key step, because once it's approved by the den leader, it then goes on a shopping list. It then goes on a purchase order. And our Cub Pack, actually most Cub Scout packs, have an advancement chair on the committee who gathers all of those awards that have been earned on one giant purchase order and goes and buys them for the pack, so that we only have one person going back and forth between the Scout store, and they can help keep track of the funds. It's a lot easier for the pack to manage that cost if it all goes through one person, and we do it through Scoutbook so that it's clean and easy for all. But so you can add awards in there, you can add advancement as you complete things, and there's a lot of electives that some scouts would be really interested in and other scouts wouldn't. So feel free to do an elective on your own with that scout. That's totally cool. What are we going to talk about next? Your account. So we talked about your Scouts account. Now let's talk about your account. At a minimum, we need you to click on My Account and edit your profile. Just like we were talking about editing your Scouts profile, please make sure your email address, phone number, all that stuff is good in there. Yeah. If you are a den leader, or if you have an official position within the pack, make sure your BSA ID number matches up and that you have what's called synced your account. If you're an official leader, you should sync your account with our training system for Scouts. Every single den leader, Cub Master, committee member, if they're wearing a brown shirt, has to go through some safety training to keep the youth in our pack safe. They all go through that training. They do different levels of den leader training. They might do camping training, and it all gets kept track inside this website. All right, we're almost done. So I already talked about how den leaders can control den, just like you can add an advancement for your den. It's not uncommon for a den leader to run the entire adventure and a couple of den meetings, awesome, and then go into Scoutbook and click all of these scouts did it, and they can do it in a big batch, which is awesome. We have some committee members that do that for hiking. When we go hiking as a pack or we go hiking as a den, maybe the person that's running the hike is going to keep track of everyone that's on the hike, and they'll add all of those scouts at once. And then the Cub Master often is kind of going around and making sure that everyone is in there, that things are filled out properly, more on the paperwork side, and just helping the den leaders with this. One last thing is, before we get to this last, and I should have had this up here, you can also have den administrators. And this is super common for those parents that are a little bit more comfortable with websites but don't want to stand in front of a den meeting and run a den meeting. A den leader might need one parent to just be the admin for Scoutbook. So the den leader shows up and then runs digging in the past adventure where they're digging for dinosaurs or something, and then at the end of the den meeting he looks at that mom or dad and says, hey, we just finished the digging in the past adventure. Can you go and make sure that these 6 scouts get credit for it in Scoutbook? And then the den admin goes in and adds all of those and clicks the right buttons so that all of those scouts get credit for their activity. And then my last note is a couple of the parents out there might have a scout that's transferring from another pack. If they're transferring from another pack, there's 2 possibilities. If they did not use Scoutbook, then we have to add all of the awards they're missing. Please let us know that that's occurring so that it can be done properly. I'm not going to go into what proper is here, just let us know, we'll help you out. If they're transferring from a pack that did use Scoutbook, please let your den leader and cub master know, because we can talk to that other pack and we can transfer everything very easily from one pack to the other pack. It's so easy to do. We've done it in the past. It works very smoothly. The same process occurs when the Arrow of Light Scouts bridge over into Boy Scouts. We basically hand permission to control this scout off to that troop, and then that scout no longer is in our pack, they're now in that troop, and it's really seamless and easy to transfer. So I hope that this introduction has kind of helped you understand what we do with Scoutbook, how we keep track of awards and progress, and that you check it out from time to time. Look into it. It's not complicated to use, and you might not need to use it a lot. But if you're good with websites, if you're good with technology, it could really be a nice thing for you to do to help a den leader out and volunteer to help run the Scoutbook and support the den on the technology side. We all get through this great adventure we call scouting as a pack. It's called family. We're called a family or a pack because we all work together, and we really appreciate your help. So if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to email me at P962cubmaster@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to try to answer your questions.